Well, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. And the sun is shining. Well, it's starting to go down, but it's been a lovely day. Perfect day for a good walk. Well, I'm delighted to be here with the beautiful Gina London. Hi, Gina.
Hi, Denise. Hi, everyone.
Gina very kindly accepted and I asked her would she allow me to chat with her from my blog. As you all know, I've decided this year to reinvent the blog slightly and start to interview some people. And the first person I've started with is the lovely Gina. And who better? Gina has been an anchor for CNN, and Gina's been living in Ireland now 5 years. Isn't that right, Gina?
Yes, going on 6 this year.
Oh
Happy
my
New Year.
gosh!
So
yeah, Happy New
we
Year.
met at a professional networking event back when we had those types of events in person.
I know, that's
at the
right.
Dublin Convention Center with the Business and Finance Award.
That's right,
there.
Dublin Chamber.
And so we've been friends since then, and I'm grateful to be a part of this because
Thank you.
there's all kinds of levels of sharing. And even though I work largely with senior executives from big multinationals as they try to engage their virtually working teams, it really comes down to each human individual.
Yeah.
And so individual stories like the stories that you shared, Denise, very personal stories, are becoming more and more open and shared by others through this virtual working and this continuing pandemic where we have to be socially distanced to have a conversation. And when the New Year's was coming, I think a lot of us were thinking, okay, we made it through the holidays and it's going to be different because there's a vaccine, and then suddenly virtual working is continuing, pandemic is continuing, vaccinations are being distributed, but it's taking longer than maybe we had initially thought. The reality is putting us down, not up. This first week in particular of back to work for January, I'm finding a lot of the people that I work with, the prospects, the clients, my friends like you, it's not been, okay, we're ready to go. It's been like, oh my gosh, we have
what's
to go.
ahead?
So having other ways to connect, like you trying this now, we need to support each other. We need to get back into committing on collaborating virtually, on connecting virtually. This is a great time, the new year, to expand your network so you don't feel as isolated as many of us are. You live at home by yourself. I'm a single mom with a daughter in our home, and our worlds personally are small. So to expand them and keep those human connections going virtually, take this as an opportunity, because I think when you can't go out, it's time to go within. But then once you go within and get that reconnection to yourself, network out virtually.
Yeah, that's very well said. That's correct, Gina, because I find now through last year with the pandemic, the blog helped me immensely. I mean, I know it helped other people, but people don't understand how much it helped me too, because I, as you say, live on my own. Now, I'm fortunate with my work that I do get to travel around Ireland, but even at that, I'm still alone. So I find the blog, I'm connecting with people daily and chatting away, I'm sharing things. And yes, of course, I share my life and I chat about personal stuff, but people, it's relatable to others, and then they feel they want to share their stories as well. And the reason why I started doing these little interviews to kind of break it up a bit is to give other people the opportunity to come out of themselves and to share their stories. And sometimes I watched a movie the other night, it was brilliant, Renée Zellweger. What If? I don't know if you've watched it on Netflix. No. Brilliant, right? But the story behind that is these people that are not letting out the past of what has happened to them, and it's holding them back to the future, or for the present even. And I found that, and I thought, with my blog, at least I'm sharing my story, and if it's helping others, then they maybe encourage them to open up more too.
See, that's it. And one of the coaching clients I had a couple of years ago, for example, as I began to say to him, you need to begin to develop a body of content. We're talking professionally now, that you begin to share your management stories in a LinkedIn blog or post or what have you. Initially, he said, similar to what you're saying, oh, but maybe why would I share of myself, because I'm just me and my story wouldn't be relatable. And I said, no, you tie any point about management or compassionate supervising or team engagement around a personal story. And then suddenly you've got more interest because someone else says, oh, I remember that time when I struggled with something, and your sharing of that personal element works to reinforce and encourage me. Same way when I've been doing, for example, I do a lot of leadership development of teams.
And are you doing that
All
virtually
virtual,
now?
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, my entire calendar, I have my own business of
Yeah.
consulting and speaking and coaching. And March 2020, when pandemic really hit in Europe and in the United States, my clients and my travel calendar went zip.
Yeah.
So we had to focus, we had to start getting into webinars and live support through virtual, and it's been actually even more important than ever before. The companies that can afford to make this investment to develop and maintain the wellness of their employees, because that's what this is all about. All this human connection stuff that is now accelerated in companies, it's because that's how we thrive.
Yeah.
We need to be valued. We need the connections. And so how we do that in those leadership courses that I've developed, for example, is the first thing we do is the icebreaker is have the women or the men or the co-ed participants in the event talk about a moment that was important in their childhood.
Yeah.
And childhood stories or stories of family or stories of struggles. They're all really important and, like I said, more relevant than ever before. So I'm grateful for this and for what you do and the other people that are listening to this, because it reminds, maybe you see someone and you think, well, they couldn't possibly be struggling for whatever reason. And then when you start to share, you realize,
Totally.
They are.
Totally,
And I
yeah.
hadn't considered their perspective, and hearing their perspective now adds another little bit of reassurance to me that we are in different boats in this storm, but we are in this storm.
We're all in the storm together. Oh God, I totally agree. And it's funny how some people, it's got society, would you agree, it's got a little bit divided now because people are arguing over COVID. This is what it is. Should we be doing this? Should we be doing that? Should we be doing it this way?
Well, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions, of course, like anything, and the endurance factor is the hardest in this.
Yeah.
It's not it's a novel virus, but it's no longer a novel situation, and a lot of people are really fed up.
Yeah.
And especially when they hear the word vaccine, a lot of people think that, okay, now that means it's time to go out and interact and book those vacations, but it's still time to lay low, get into more of that rhythm of structuring your day so that you can discipline yourself to get up and get dressed in the morning, no matter, even if you're working virtually and you don't have to go into an office. You can feel better and be more productive if you do get that mind and body in alignment. I mean, I was just talking to a college girlfriend of mine a couple of days ago this week back in Washington State in Seattle, and sadly, throughout this working from home thing, she has gained probably 50 pounds.
Yeah,
And what has happened then, because of that falling off, she now is mentally much more unhappy.
Yep.
She's very sad about her situation. Financially, she's still doing fine, but she's not structured her life. So we're going to work together.
And her self-esteem is probably
her
low.
self-esteem is low. So her to incentivize herself is very slow. Is very low.
Yeah.
She is. It's in a difficult spot. Not to mention the fact that Seattle is a lot like Dublin, where it is dark and cold and rainy.
Yeah.
And it can, and your emotions are really triggered by.
So,
by the
totally.
weather.
That's why, like, days like today, and this week's been pretty good. I know it's been cold, we've had a little bit of snow, but I love weather like this because you can get out, you can walk on the beach, you can get all your furry hats on,
When it's
furry boots.
sunny and it's crisp, you can at least
Yeah.
get out and see. This is again, get out if you can. Get out of your home. Take a 5-minute walk around the block if it's cold. Move. Here in Ireland, there's a thing called the 100 Days of Walking, and to try to get into again structure, discipline, routine. These are things that we crave, and it's difficult when you live by yourself.
Yeah.
It's difficult when you don't have other people, accountability buddies or thinking partners to help you get on track.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate because even though I'm working from home, I do have a remote scheduler, a remote sales exec. I have people that I talk to and collaborate
daily,
with every day.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's really important.
It
and
is.
Even when you reach out, it's like, of course I'm going to do this, because finding ways through different places where people are communicating to share a story of how it's impacting us where we are gives another person that little sense of connection that they might not have had otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, thank you, Gina. That's really wise words. And I hope that's helped people who are at home and they're not out working at all. They're just at home every day and they're just working in the house, and then they're not going out at night anywhere because obviously we're not allowed to go anywhere. So I hope that little bit. And I mean, I watch your videos, Gina, on positivity, and you're very inspiring in your videos in the morning. So what would you say as your last leaving words to keep people motivated?
Well, thanks, Denise. And one of the thanks a lot for that. First of all, I'd ask you very much, please, to go ahead and find me too on social media. I'd be grateful for the extra connection. So it's the Gina London on Twitter and on Instagram, and of course Facebook as well. I'm also LinkedIn. Very active on LinkedIn. And one of the things I think is the best motivator of all is to reach out to someone else if you haven't spoken to in a while. We started doing these Zoom rooms, and we had these other types of connections, but get into almost a networking grid of discipline around it. Did you talk to Denise in December? Well, it's January now, so reach out to her again. Because when you discipline yourself to reach out to others, I guarantee something they say is going to reaffirm you. It's that reciprocity.
Oh, totally,
of human
just even having a little chat or a
when
Zoom.
you start to feel that you're crumbling and you're feeling too isolated, that is exactly the time to not do what you feel inclined to do, which is to pull the covers up over your head. Instead, get out of bed, put on the music, get dressed, do a workout app for 5 minutes.
Get down the beach.
And call somebody. Call
Good.
somebody and let them, and then you will be surprised how grateful they are for your call, and then
you're grateful
you'll
for
be
them.
surprised how that feeds back to your soul. The best motivator I can think of then is to reach out deliberately. Don't wait. Reach out.
Brilliant. Well, Gina, thank you so much. That's a fantastic bit
I'm
of
glad
advice.
You reached out to me, 'cause
yes, I'm glad too, and I'm so delighted that you actually agreed, because it's great for my first little interview to have Gina. And Gina, as you know, Gina has worked for CNN and travelled the world, so a fantastic lady.
Not traveling anymore.
Oh no!
But you know what? Again, clients all over the world. I have increased my network on LinkedIn, for example, by 8,000.
Yes, LinkedIn.
By 8,000 in the last year over 2020. Because I've been deliberately reaching out to other professionals, and my client base has expanded. I've just picked up a new client in Japan and Asia.
Fantastic, that's brilliant.
Because multinational client, because of networking virtually. It is
fantastic.
People are more open to collaborating than ever before.
I 100% agree. And LinkedIn, as you say, my LinkedIn's grown, but my little blog has grown. It's almost 10,000 people. I think I'm only a couple of hundred people away from 10,000. And that's amazing as well, because every day I think, right, okay, must have the crack on the blog, must motivate people, must chat, see what's happening. So it's good for me too. So it's been brilliant. So thank you very much, Gina. And thank you guys for watching. And if you want to follow Gina on any of those platforms, it's Gina London. And she's fantastic as well for her motivational videos in the mornings.
And that's Pepper the Wonder Dog.
And Peppa, I know.
She just wandered through.
Gorgeous dog. Sarah will be very jealous if she could smell Peppa off me. Anyway, guys, listen, thank you so much. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.